Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm a behavioral scientist. I'm also a professor of leadership at Holt International Business School. That means that I teach leadership and other business skills to adults around the world. This course is designed for you. It will help you develop the skills that you need to be a good supervisor. You see, your job as a supervisor is to help your team deliver strong results. This means being sure that each person knows what work they should finish at the end of each day. It also means keeping your workers safe by ensuring that safety precautions are met and by stopping any unsafe behavior. You may need to solve problems and manage conflict. You will probably also need to produce a report so there's a record of the work your team has done. One important set of skills to help you achieve all of these goals is the ability to give clear instructions. So this is Leadership Lesson 1, how to give clear instructions. Your goal is to give clear instructions to help your team deliver a good result. In this lesson, we will learn 4 ingredients that lead to clear instructions. Ingredient number 1. What is a good result for today? That is something that you need to define. You see, people work better when they know what results are expected. For example, if your team is clearing an area this week, how much of it should they clear just today? One methodology for finding just the right amount of work is to start by defining what goal would be too high. How much work would be very difficult or impossible for the team to achieve today? Also define what goal would be too low. How much work would be too little for them to achieve today? When you have the upper limit and the lower limit, it makes it easier to find what would just be the right amount of work for your team to deliver on this day. Ingredient number 2 is being able to outline the key steps in sequence. If the task is known to people, they might not need step-by-step directions. However, if the task is new, your team may need to be told how to do the task. Break your instructions into the simplest steps possible and then present them in sequence. That means the first task comes first and the last task comes last. For activities that have many steps, it is better to explain them one at a time at the end of each task. If you give all the instructions at once, people may not remember them. Ingredient number 3 is to use simple words. Many words have more than one meaning. Aim to choose the simplest words that everyone on the team will understand. Replace complicated words with easy ones. And keep your instructions short so that they're easier to remember. Ingredient number 4 is to check understanding and invite questions. People don't always speak up when they don't understand. And you see, misunderstandings are actually common. Ask one person from each team to explain the instructions back to you. That's the best way to check what the team has understood. So let's recap all of that now. First, define what would be a good result for today. That needs to be communicated to the team. Second, outline the key steps in sequence. Third, make sure that you are using words that are simple. And finally, check understanding by asking the team to repeat their instructions. Let's do an exercise to practice. This exercise gives you the opportunity to practice giving clear instructions. for trainers only. The objective of this exercise is for your participants to practice giving clear instructions for different tasks. This is a fun exercise for both the trainers and the learners. In order to get prepared, you're going to need at least one necktie and one shirt of any kind. If you have a very large group, you might choose to add a few additional items of clothing. To get started, ask for one volunteer. That volunteer should stand up with his or her back to the group. Now ask for a second volunteer. That volunteer should stand up facing the group so that the two volunteers cannot see each other. Volunteer number 1 will give volunteer number 2 step-by-step instructions for putting on either the shirt or the tie. The first volunteer can choose which item of clothing they want to try. The second volunteer must follow the instructions that they hear directly. When the first volunteer believes that he or she has given complete instructions, they can stop, turn around, and look at the outcome of their instructions. That's the end of their turn. Here are a few tips for you as a trainer. The participants will likely be familiar with the idea of wearing a shirt. Because this task is not new, the most effective instruction will likely be, put on the shirt. However, putting on a necktie is more complicated. This is an opportunity for participants to practice all 4 ingredients involved in giving clear instructions. The next slide provides a solution that trainers can use for the necktie exercise. As an additional option, you might choose to use this exercise at the end of the lesson.